Good morning. Today's question is, how do I let go of regret and guilt from the past? How do I let go of regret and guilt from the past? Why do we hold on to regret and guilt from the past? There are maybe several reasons, but in my experience, a lot of the reasons why we hold on to regret and guilt from the past is because first of all, we maybe feel that we should have done better. And we don't trust our capacity to do better in the future. And so we're afraid, what if we repeat the same thing again? I should have done better. I should have done better. So first of all, we want some different outcome today. We want a different outcome. Imagine, for example, we broke a glass that we love a lot. So today we want to have this glass. We broke it in the past, but we want to have it. But why is there guilt and regret? And how do we let go of it? If we want the cup so badly now, because maybe our parents gave it to us or whatever the reason is, so first of all, we are missing the cup. So there's the idea of grief. We have to grieve the cup. We have to grieve what we lost. Once we have grieved what we lost, now we have to come to a point where we have to understand, why did we break the cup? What happened? What in our behavior caused it that we made the cup fall? Because if we are going to get another cup in the future and we come to love it again so dearly, if we want to trust in life, first of all, we have to somehow feel safe that we won't lose it again, right? Because if we lost it the first time and it was so difficult to handle, then we don't want this experience to happen again. So here we have several things again. We have, first of all, the capacity to be able to deal with losses and grief in a way that doesn't prevent us or doesn't make us want to avoid them in the future. Because there is loss in everything in life. We lose everything in life. Our new phones eventually become old phones and we're going to have to let go of them. Our new cars become our old cars and we have to let go of them. We move houses, maybe we move cities, we move countries. We have to leave the space at that moment in our life. So if we are averse to grief, if we are averse to loss, we're going to avoid so many experiences in life which actually bring regeneration. Because as we saw, a lot of leaves have to fall from a tree in order for the new leaves to regrow. So if we are averse to loss and to change, we're going to lose out on a lot of regeneration in life. So in order to handle those situations, we have to make our peace with the idea of loss and regeneration. We have to maybe practice at some moments. The moment a shirt that we love gets old, we just give it away. We give it away. We don't keep it in our closets. Maybe we'll wear it one day. We just give it away. And we have so many ways we can practice those things. The moment something in our house, in our environment becomes worn out or unusable, we try to give it away to make room for something new to come and replace it. And the more we practice this kind of letting go of things, the less averse we are to change and the less averse we are to the things we lose. So the moment we lose something, it's okay. We go through a period of grief, we grieve the thing we lost, but then we move on. And then what happens now? What happens now is that in the future, the moment we do something that broke a cup, for example, that broke something that has irreversible results, first of all, we'll go through a period of grief. And then we try to assess where did we do to break this cup? And how can we behave better in the future so that we make sure that we break less and less cups? And the idea of being able to learn to deal with grief, in addition to the idea of reflecting on what happened in our life and being able to extract lessons so that in the future we're able to act differently, builds the capacity of trust in ourselves. Imagine, for example, you are riding a bicycle. If you fall 1 out of 2 times, you don't have the trust to be able to ride the bicycle to work. But if you generally don't fall, it happens maybe once every few years. Even if you fall once, it's okay because you've been riding for such a long time, and you don't often fall. If you fell once, you know that you have a history to prove to you that you don't fall that often. So even if you fall once, it's not that big of a deal. So you don't make a big deal out of it. But if you've only been traveling or riding a bicycle for 2 days and then you start taking it to work and you fall, well, then you put the whole thing into reconsideration. Because what if I fall again tomorrow? What if I fall again after tomorrow? You never know. You don't have a history track to be able to give you this trust and capacity to trust yourself. So we have to practice. We have to practice much more, letting go, grieving things more frequently, going through the experience of grieving things more frequently, learning from what did we do, how did we fall, and how do we make sure we don't fall in the future, and practicing more and more and more. And then the less we fall, the more trust we have in our capacity to handle a certain situation, and the more we build our capacity to handle and be resilient with grief and letting go of the things that we like so dearly, the easier it becomes also to be able to let go of things without feeling any kind of guilt or grief or regret about what we did. And regret and guilt are also tied a lot with the capacity of not trusting oneself, of thinking we should have done better. But this is really obsession with the past, because the only thing we can do now is to make sure how can we do better in the future. Not we should have done better in the past, but the past is past. And the only thing we can do now is how can we do better in the future. And the only way we can do better in the future is just by practicing more often.